Board meeting order. Take a roll call, please.
Wallace.
Here.
Kramer. Davis. Hendricks. Squire.
Need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Henry. Second? Yes. Wyatt. All in favor? Opposed? Open forum.
I'm on the agenda.
Okay.
Is that okay in the spot you're at? Okay.
If there is nothing, we'll move on to new business. Discuss request of Justin and Becky Schrage for medical reasons. Okay.
Yes, Mayor, and we previously met. I don't think I've had an opportunity to meet all of you. My name is Josh Moon. I represent the Schrages, and I've prepared a packet for you all today, just to reference during the new business. Is there a spot on the firm that addresses?
You know, if you want to sit, you can sit there, but you want the chair, otherwise, no, you're fine.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the agenda here, and I see that we're listed for requests for medical reasons. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I view this as an appeal to the original allegation that they're harboring a dangerous animal under the dangerous animal statute. And I'm going to proceed in that way. While there are medical conditions that we might address, there are other primary issues we're going to be addressing. Again, my name's Josh Moon. I represent the Schrages, also in a criminal matter that has been brought against them in the city of Allison for harboring a dangerous animal, a vicious animal, their dog, Izzy. Their dog's a pit bull, and I wanted to thank the council tonight for putting us on the agenda and giving this opportunity to contest the allegations that have been brought against them. We have two primary goals tonight. Our first goal is to request from you, the city council members, a variance under the ordinance. And the packet I put before you shows what the variance provision I'm talking about on page 3. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, I've paginated the packet so you can reference that. That's our primary goal tonight, is to request this variance from you. Under certain circumstances, the ordinance allows members of the city council to grant a variance. Our second, and maybe somewhat more of a lofty goal, one we know is probably not going to happen overnight, is to hopefully start a discussion and debate about an alternate method to approach dog safety in the community, and one that doesn't specifically target a breed of dog and has other approaches that are breed neutral. We know that won't happen overnight, and we're not here to disparage the city by any means. We understand that the legislation currently enacted was done so with the best intent to look out for public safety, and we understand that. So we just hope to hopefully engage in a discussion about possibly changing the ordinance in the future. But our immediate concern, like I said, is the variance. And if you look at page 3, you can see that it affords you the opportunity to grant a variance if strict compliance with ordinance will create a substantial injustice. You have the power to modify or vary the ordinance in accordance with still complying with the intent behind the ordinance, but eliminating a situation that's unfair or otherwise unjust. And we would submit that due to the extraordinary hardship received by the Schrages as a result of this situation, that it is a substantial injustice that they have gone through. They've been prosecuted criminally for harboring a dangerous and vicious animal. They haven't had the opportunity to rebut that presumption. The ordinance doesn't allow them to come in here and tell you guys, my dog's not vicious, my dog's not dangerous. And we want that opportunity. In order to alleviate any concerns that the city has, we have provided documentation of Izzy being tested. She's gone through temperament several hours of testing done by a dog coming in Waterloo that has provided the council a letter, I believe it's on page 4, that is stated that she's not concerned about any dangerous behavior from Izzy, nor has she shown throughout the testing any aggressive behavior. We think the evaluation form on the next page speaks for itself. She's also gone through canine good citizenship testing. In order to pass that, that's on page 6, I believe. In order to pass that, she had to go through a series of 10 tests. She had to pass every one of them. She's also done that. And I should back up a little bit. I'm not aware of any allegation that Izzy has actually bit anyone in the community, or done anything wrong, or displayed any aggressive behavior. And we hope that the City Council will consider the further evidence that shows that she's a well-trained, well-behaved dog. She's 7 years old. The Schraggies are here present today with their children. They've been living with the dog for 7 years without incident, without any aggression shown towards anyone. Now the City Council can also impose conditions that they choose to do so with any variance. If you will consider our request for variance, which I hope you do, the Schraggies are open to abiding by any conditions the City Council imposes. They will agree to supervise the dog at all times while she's outside, always be on a leash, those types of conditions. So that's our main goal tonight, is to request that variance. And our second goal kind of ties in with that, and it gets into the policy reasons as to why we don't think the city should continue to have this breed-specific legislation in place. And when I say breed-specific, I'm referring to any ordinance that bans a specific type of breed of dog. We believe the evidence, as many other organizations do, including an organization I belong to, the American Bar Association. If you turn to page 28 of the packet, it lists a number of organizations that refuse to endorse breed-specific policies, including the CDC. The facts indicate that it just doesn't work. All dog breeds have the potential to bite. There's no statistics showing that one breed of dog is more likely to bite than any other breed of dog. And for that reason, it doesn't work. Everywhere breed-specific legislation has been enacted, there's been no evidence to support that it has reduced dog bites or enhanced public safety. It also doesn't deter people that want to exploit dogs. I would submit to the council that anyone that's getting a pit bull for nefarious reasons, such as dog fighting or anything else, isn't going to care what ordinance is on the books anyway. And because any breed of dog can become aggressive, they can circumvent that anyway by getting a different breed, a Doberman Pinscher, a Rottweiler. It all depends on the dog owner and how the dog is raised, and that largely will determine whether or not the dog is aggressive or properly socialized and well behaved. The other issue with breed-specific legislation, and I thank you for your patience. I know I'm talking a lot in the order, we tend to do that. I appreciate your patience, but the problem is misidentification of dogs. Often professionals inaccurately label a dog as a specific breed based on visual appearance. And so we're putting law enforcement officials in a position where they have to go to someone's house and label a dog as a pit bull based on its visual appearance. Oftentimes, that dog gets DNA tested. It turns out they were wrong. This leads to subjectiveness in the law. It leads to arbitrary enforcement in the law. It leads to situations like this where we're here today contesting the law. It's not cost effective. And new policies advocate for policies that don't target breeds specifically and that focus on responsible pet ownership. I know there's been a significant time and resources spent on this case from myself, from your city attorney, And when you really boil down the issue, what we're fighting over is the removal of a well-trained dog with responsible dog owners. And we just think resources can be better spent. And again, the alternate ordinance here would be provisions that focus on the dog behavior and the dog owner, as well as public education and a multifactorial approach to the situation. So again, our immediate request for relief here is to request a variance from the City Council that allows Izzy to stay here in Allison, that will allow the Schragis to live here with their dog, be reunited with their dog, and not put them in a position where they're deciding whether or not they have to move to live with their dog, whether or not they have to give up their dog, or whether or not they continue living here in violation of this ordinance. So we thank you for your time and your consideration. Hope that the City Council seriously considers our request and allow the Schragis to keep their dog here in the city. And if anyone has any questions or comments, I'm going to entertain those. Yes.
It is really ridiculous how far this is going. I asked her when they come up if she knew about the ordinance. She said yes. They knew there was an ordinance that was different, but yet they brought it on at the time.
I'm not sure when you asked for that. That was at a prior time. I don't know about that. But
I'm telling you, the meeting that they came to request that they be allowed to keep their dog is after we sent them the letter. That was their hearing on whether they could keep the dog or not.
what,
She knew about the ordinance. She admitted to it at the council meeting. And she admitted it before they even bought a house in town. To my wife and other people going to her views that they had a pit bull and they knew about the ordinance.
and my point here is not to talk about what happened before or conditions. No, it's not. My point here is to address the current policy in place and point out the fact that the city automatically labels their dog as dangerous or vicious, but there's evidence before you that the dog is not vicious, is not dangerous, and there's evidence that actually demonstrates that the dog is well trained and well behaved.
And I'm sure everybody else would have to say that dog will never bite anyone.
Well, and that's my other understanding. There's never been an allegation that the dog's bit anyone or done anything
They
dangerous.
somebody on their property in Hartsville.
They cornered someone on a property in Park Avenue.
Mine? It went across the street to a neighbor, is how it got brought to us.
I'm not aware of the dog biting anyone or causing
No,
anyone.
he didn't say it, did it?
She did get loose when we first moved to town. It was an accident. It was for 4 minutes. By the time we knew about it, I think Scott Larson told Justin that she was loose. He went looking for her and she was back in our yard. I never heard anything about cornering someone or anything like that.
And as I said, you guys can impose any conditions you'd like. If the condition is that at all times when that dog's in public, she has to be on a leash, and if we see her not on a leash and we're back here, well, that's a different story. Like I said, with the power to grant that variance, we can impose conditions.
You know, we're a small town. We don't have animal protection. We don't have animal protection departments. You know, we don't have 5 guys that are continually going around the town looking for loose dogs, or we are it right here. I guess I feel I don't want to have a dog bite somebody before they do something. I've just seen them do something before it ever happens. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the way everybody felt. I don't know how long this ordinance has been in play, but at the time, and you know, different councils can change their minds. You know, I'm going to guess this ordinance has been in effect for years. And at that time, we did have some complaints, and we did make an ordinance. And it's pretty general, you know. we're not gonna have the dogs tested. We did kind of pick them out. I mean, every dog falls into the dangerous animal. I mean, a little Yorkie can be dangerous, and if so be it, we'll deal with it at that time. But yeah.
And that's exactly what we're asking about.
Right. But we did ear pick, pointed out pit bulls.
And I would say that when it comes to criminal proceedings, there's a different burden of proof that needs to take place in the court. And I think it'd be difficult for a prosecutor to make the argument that the breed of dog is a pit bull. I think you're going to have to spend money, time, and more resources to prove that it's a specific breed of dog, just because it's so hard to identify dogs by breed. And I think this would be a cost-saving measure for the city. I really do, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. In fact, Dr. Petty do. This is a cost-effective way of enacting a policy. Not only is it cost-effective, but it's more effective of enhancing public protection. It works better, and there's studies that show that.
But you gotta look at it on our side here too. You know, I have no problem, their dog is probably a very nice dog. But if that is allowed, and I will admit, the people train their dogs such to be certain animals. But once we allow one, we're going to allow the next guy that is not a good trainer of a dog, that likes to train dogs and such. And there is people that do that.
And I hear that argument, I respect it, but that's the law already in place. A dangerous event happens, they can appeal it to the city council, and you can say, are you kidding me? Your dog was running loose, it bit 3 kids and mauled someone.
And then again, you've got 3 kids bitten because we allowed a pit bull.
No, because there was a danger. It doesn't have to be a pit bull. It can be a Doberman Pinscher. It can be a Yorkie, as you said. Any dog can be aggressive.
You know,
there's no statistic of proof that any dog is likely to bite more than any other breed.
On the news, you know, pit bull attacks, pit bulls. It is killed. And yet you have pit bull owners stating, oh, it's
And I encourage you, invite you to read that packet, and all the organizations have done studies to show that it does fall back onto dog ownership behavior. And who's to say that a Doberman Pinscher won't maul someone like that? They're just as powerful, or Rottweiler, where you guys don't place a ban on those animals. We want the opportunity for pet owners to prove that their dogs aren't vicious, they're not dangerous. And if someone has a Pinscher or Rottweiler and they maul a kid to death, they have the opportunity to come here and do that. We don't, because they have a pit bull.
And I did mention here a few meetings ago, there was an animal, that one lady that came with you, that was here. And she said, the owners reflect what the dog is. And I do understand that. But we can kick the dogs out of town, but we can't kick the people out of town that own the dogs. You understand that?
I do. But like I said before, anyone that has a dog for an improper purpose, for a nefarious purpose, isn't going to care about whether or not they're in town with that dog illegally or not. I'm not going to care.
And we don't know how that dog's being trained, and we really don't care. But, you know, the ordinance is such.
What are we being asked to do?
We're asking the city council to grant a variance that allows Izzy, the dog, to remain living in the city of Allison. My clients will agree not to get any more breeds that you refer to as pit bulls. We'll keep Izzy on a leash whenever she's in public. They will comply with any other conditions that you impose, and this can all be over with. The dog can go on living here. And if there's another issue with a dog running wild, you can impose that condition by all means and say, if we ever come back here, the dog's gone.
I mean, this isn't something we can do tonight.
Well, let me make sure I understand what you said. If we don't do this, you're going to follow through with a lawsuit that's going to cost us a lot of money.
I never said
That sounds like a threat to me.
Sir, I never said that. I
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we
Perception
have,
is more important than reality.
well, let me
sometimes.
clarify. I've never once said that I recall that I'm going to sue the city.
Did you
I'm-
say anything about it costing the city a lot of money?
Right, I'm representing the Straggies. They're
I
being
understand who
criminally
you're-
prosecuted under the
I
order.
understand who you're representing and why. I'm asking you a direct question. Are you threatening that your actions are gonna cost the city a lot of money if we don't okay it tonight?
Sir, I'm not. I was talking about the policy. And I do not want this to be a confrontational thing.
It's
We-
already confrontational.
No, gentlemen, we want to work with the city council.
No, we haven't. We decided this last fall that that dog should be removed from city limits. It was not.
Well,
We had to have our city attorney file charges to get the dog out of the city limits. That cost us money. It should have been done 3 days after they got the letter. It was not.
the dog's been removed, sir,
I understand that after
and
the
my
fact.
understanding is no.
Why is this down here as a medical?
There were medical issues in place that were not. Why?
How can that dog be a medical assistant?
Becky has had problems with her vertigo. She got in an accident, I believe, 4 years ago. And the dog has been trained to assist her with that, provide balance, to retrieve items from her. But we're not going there, and I think Marty
She's a
misunderstood.
beautician, she's on her feet. She walks, she rides bikes.
Sir, I understand that, but we were addressing here today, what we wanted to do is have an opportunity to prove to the council that they do not have a dangerous dog. They do not have a vicious dog.
I'd like to ask Becky a direct question. I got a call Saturday morning from a lady who claims that her dog was in Brianna Speedy's backyard.
My dog?
That's
No.
what she said.
Have you
Not
ever
that I
kidnapped
know of.
from a
She's
landlord?
staying with Paul and Glenda Jepson over by Ardale. It's Grace Steers